September 17, 2024. 8:47 p.m. Sean Diddy Combs, hip-hop mogul, billionaire, music legend, walks into the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn wearing khaki pants and a black t-shirt. No jewelry. No entourage. No bodyguards. Just inmate number 37452-054. 24 hours earlier, he was in a Manhattan penthouse worth $39 million. Now he's in a 6x8 cell with a metal toilet and a concrete slab for a bed. MDC Brooklyn isn't a country club federal prison where white-collar criminals play tennis. It's one of the most dangerous detention centers in America, where R. Kelly was attacked, where Jeffrey Epstein's associate Ghislaine Maxwell was held, where violence is daily and guards are outnumbered 50-1. Diddy has been denied bail twice. Federal charges: racketeering, sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution. Allegations spanning decades. If convicted, life in prison. But right now, none of that matters. Because for the next 24 hours, he's not a mogul. He's not a billionaire. He's not Diddy. He's an inmate in one of America's worst jails. Starting from zero. This is the first 24 hours. Minute by minute. What really happens when fame meets concrete reality. MDC Brooklyn. September 17th to 18th, 2024. The clock starts now. From $39 million penthouse to 6x8 cell in 24 hours. If you want to see what really happens when a billionaire enters federal detention, subscribe now. This gets intense. 6:30 p.m. 6 hours before intake. Federal agents arrest Sean Combs at the Park Hyatt Hotel in Manhattan. Handcuffs. Federal marshals. Media everywhere. He's wearing a black t-shirt and khaki pants. No suit. No designer clothes. His lawyer requested he surrender himself wearing comfortable clothing, knowing what comes next. The cameras capture everything. TMZ. CNN. Every news outlet. The Perp walk. This is strategic humiliation. Federal prosecutors know the images will dominate headlines. The powerful brought low. The mighty in chains. But Diddy's face shows nothing. No emotion. No fear. No anger. Just blank stoicism. His lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, speaks to cameras. We're disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution. Mr. Combs is innocent. He looks forward to clearing his name in court. The charges are severe. Racketeering, conspiracy, sex, trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, transportation to engage in prostitution. If convicted on all counts, life imprisonment. Bail was denied. Twice. Despite offers of $50 million bond, house arrest, surrender of passport, 24/7 monitoring. Judge's reasoning: danger to the community and flight risk. So now, instead of going home to a penthouse, he's going to MDC Brooklyn. Federal marshals transport him in an unmarked vehicle. 20-minute drive. Through Brooklyn streets. Past neighborhoods he used to drive through in Maybachs and Bentleys. Now he's in the back of a federal transport van. Heading to intake. The transformation begins. 8:47 p.m. The van pulls into MDC Brooklyn's secure entrance. Metropolitan Detention Center, Brooklyn. Built 1994. Capacity: 1,600 inmates. Current population: 1,800. Overcrowded. This is not a prison. It's a detention center. Meaning everyone here is awaiting trial. Presumed innocent. But treated like the convicted. MDC Brooklyn has a reputation. The worst in the federal system. Nicknamed Guantanamo of New York. Problems documented. Rodent infestation, lack of heat, winter 2019, no heat for a week. Lack of running water frequent, violence between inmates, weekly stabbings, guard shortages, chronic understaffing, suicides multiple per year, medical neglect, documented deaths. High-profile inmates held here. R. Kelly attacked multiple times. Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein associate, held 2 years. Pharma bro Martin Shkreli, NXIVM cult leader Keith Raniere, multiple mafia bosses, cartel members, gang leaders. Diddy is now one of them. The van door opens. Federal marshals escort him out. Shackles on wrists and ankles. The chains limit his steps to small shuffles. Security cameras capture every angle. This footage will be preserved. Evidence. Documentation. He's led through 3 security checkpoints. Metal detectors. Body scanners. Drug-sniffing dogs. At each checkpoint, guards process paperwork. He's no longer Sean Combs. He's inmate 37452-054. 8:52 p.m. He enters the intake area. The dehumanization protocol begins. And there's no camera crew to document this part. Just institutional brutality disguised as procedure. 8:55 p.m. Intake room. The first rule of federal detention. Everything you brought from your old life is removed. Combs, Sean. Remove all clothing. Everything. There are no private changing rooms. No dignity preservation. Just a concrete room with 3 correctional officers and a nurse. Strip search protocol. Remove all clothing open mouth. Lift tongue run fingers through hair lift arms. Check armpits lift genitals turn around bend over. Spread buttock squat and cough lift feet. Show soles. Everyone gets this. CEOs. Celebrities. Mafia bosses. Murderers. No exceptions. One of the officers is documenting. Noting tattoos. Scars. Identifying marks. Anything that could be used for identification if he escapes or is killed. Diddy has several tattoos. Combs, across upper back various designs on arms all documented. Photographed. The nurse conducts a brief medical screening. Any medical conditions? Heart condition. I take medication. We'll review that. Any injuries? No. History of mental illness? No. Suicidal thoughts? No. The questions are rapid fire, designed to catch lies. Mental health screening is minimal, just enough to check a box. Medical issues in MDC Brooklyn are notoriously neglected. Inmates have died waiting for treatment. Heart attacks, infections, withdrawal. But right now, that's not the concern. 9:03 p.m. The strip search concludes. He's handed an orange jumpsuit. Size XL. Standard issue. Same as everyone else. No designer labels. No tailoring. Just orange polyester that smells like industrial detergent and the previous wearer. He puts it on. Sean Combs is gone. Inmate 37452-054 exists. 9:10 p.m. Medical unit. Every new inmate gets a basic health screening. This isn't comprehensive health care. This is triage. Checking if you'll die in the next 24 hours. The nurse, overworked, handling 50 new intakes this week alone, goes through the checklist. Height, 5 feet 10 inches. Weight, 195. Blood pressure. She wraps the cuff. Pumps. Reads. 140/95. Elevated. You said you have a heart condition. Yes. I take medication. What medication? I don't know the name. My doctor prescribed it. This is a problem. Inmates don't get their outside medication. They get what MDC Brooklyn's pharmacy stocks. If they stock it, if they approve it, if they have time to process it, it can take weeks to get medication approved. Sometimes months. The nurse notes it. But there's no immediate solution. Any drug use? No. Alcohol use? Occasionally. How much? Socially. She doesn't believe anyone. Everyone lies about substance use. But she notes it anyway. Any history of violence? No. Any gang affiliations? No. Any enemies currently incarcerated? Not that I know of. This question matters. MDC Brooklyn houses rival gang members, mafia families, cartel enemies, people who would kill each other on sight. Proper classification prevents deaths. But with 1,800 inmates and understaffing, mistakes happen. The screening takes 8 minutes total. You're cleared. Next. 9:18 p.m. Medical screening complete. He's led to classification, where the system decides which unit, which cell, which other inmates he'll live with. These decisions can mean life or death. And they're made by overworked staff in under 10 minutes. 9:20 p.m. Classification unit. Classification determines everything. Housing unit, security level, cellmate assignments, privileges, job assignments. The classification officer, a federal employee who's processed 12,000 inmates in 15 years, reviews Diddy's file on a computer screen. Name, Sean Combs, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, P. Diddy Love. Charges, racketeering, sex trafficking, transportation for prostitution. Criminal history, none, first arrest. Risk level, high, due to charges, wealth connections. Flight risk, extreme, resources to flee. Celebrity status, maximum, media attention, security, concern. The officer types notes. Inmate is high-profile celebrity. Media attention extreme. Security risk, due to potential for bribery of staff. Recommend special housing unit for safety and security. Special housing unit, SHU, means isolation from general population 23 hours per day in cell 1 hour recreation, alone, no contact with other inmates, no prison jobs, limited privileges. It's protective custody, but it's also psychological torture. Isolation for 23 hours daily destroys mental health. Documented suicide risk increases 600% in SHU, but it's safer than general population, where a celebrity billionaire would be a target for violence, for extortion, for kidnapping, for gaining status. I beat up Diddy. The officer makes the decision. Housing assignment, special housing unit, cell block 4 alpha, cell 47. Cellmate, TBD, likely another high-profile inmate for safety. Security level, maximum. Review date, 30 days. 9:28 p.m. Classification complete. He's escorted to SHU, to the cell where he'll spend the next months, maybe years, waiting for trial, waiting for justice, waiting. 9:32 p.m. The walk to special housing unit. The corridors of MDC Brooklyn are long, concrete, fluorescent lights that flicker. The smell is institutional, cleaning chemicals, mold, human sweat, desperation. 2 correctional officers escort him. Standard procedure. Shackles still on wrists and ankles. Small shuffling steps. They pass through 6 security doors. Each one requires key card, access radio, confirmation visual, confirmation manual lock. Security is extreme. MDC Brooklyn has had escapes, attempts, tunnels, bribes, helicopter plots. With someone of Diddy's resources, security is paranoid. They walk past general population units. Through the small windows in the doors, inmates watch. They see the orange jumpsuit, the shackles, the guards. Someone recognizes him, starts yelling, "Yo, that's Diddy. Diddy. Yo, what's good?" Others join. Soon, dozens of inmates are at their cell windows, yelling, banging on doors, cheering, taunting. "Free Diddy. Bad boy for life. You're done, bro. We gonna get you." The officers don't react. This is normal. Celebrity arrivals always cause disruption. But the noise is overwhelming, echoing through concrete corridors, amplified by acoustics designed to carry sound. Diddy keeps his face neutral, doesn't look left or right, just shuffles forward. 9:39 p.m. They reach special housing unit. Cell block 4 alpha. Maximum security. Isolation. The door to cell 47 opens. This is home now. 6 feet by 8 feet. 48 square feet. Smaller than his walk-in closet was. 9:42 p.m. The cell door closes behind him. Electronic lock engages. Solid thunk. This is cell 47. Special housing unit. His home for the foreseeable future. Dimensions: 6 feet wide, 8 feet long. 48 square feet total. Contents: metal bunk bed. He's alone, so he can choose top or bottom. Thin mattress, 2 inches thick, plastic covered. 1 wool blanket, brown, institutional. 1 pillow, flat, smells like disinfectant. Stainless steel toilet/sink combo. 1 unit. Visible from everywhere. Metal desk, bolted to wall. Metal stool, bolted to floor. 1 small window, 4 inches wide. 36 inches tall, thick glass. View of sky only. That's it. That's everything. The walls are concrete, painted institutional beige. Graffiti scratched into paint by previous occupants. Day 347 still here, God help me. F*******, the Fed's names. Dates. Countdown marks. The lighting is fluorescent, bright, constant. Even at night, it dims but never goes fully dark. Sleep deprivation is built into the architecture. The temperature is cold. MDC Brooklyn is notorious for temperature problems. Winter 2019, the heat failed. Inmates wore winter coats in their cells. No one fixed it for days. The smell is industrial cleaner mold and the faint odor of sewage from pipes that run behind the walls. Diddy stands in the center of the cell, turns 360 degrees, takes it in. 48 hours ago, he was in a Manhattan penthouse with Central Park views, a private chef, a $200,000 bed. Now this. The first night begins. 9:45 p.m. He sits on the metal bunk. Mattress compresses to nothing. Feels the metal underneath. This is real. 9:45 p.m. First hour of isolation. No phone. No TV. No music. No people. Just concrete walls and fluorescent lights, and the constant low hum of ventilation systems. This is when reality hits. When the shock wears off. When the brain starts processing. 24 hours ago, penthouse. Staff. Luxury. Control. Now, 6x8 cell. No control. No luxury. No staff except guards who view you as a number. The psychological shift is violent. Sudden. Disorienting. Diddy sits on the bunk. Hands on knees. Staring at the opposite wall. What's going through his mind? Legal strategy. His lawyers. The case. The evidence. His children. 6 kids. How they're processing this. His empire. Businesses. Contracts. Deals falling apart. The allegations. Decades of accusations. Now federal charges. The trial. Months away. Maybe years away. The possibility of dying here. In this cell. Never leaving. But those thoughts come later. Right now it's simpler. Right now it's, how do I survive tonight? The cell is cold. The blanket is thin. The mattress is uncomfortable. He tries to lie down. The plastic mattress cover crinkles. It's designed to be waterproof, urine-proof, blood-proof. It's not designed for comfort. He stares at the ceiling. 8 feet above him. Concrete. Painted beige. Water stains. No windows to see outside. Just a small slit window showing a sliver of sky. It's dark now. The noise starts. Through the walls. Through the vents. Other inmates. Yelling. Banging. Crying. Praying. Arguing. MDC Brooklyn never sleeps. The noise is constant. Welcome to the first night. 10 hours until morning. 48 hours ago. $39 million penthouse. Now, 6x8 cell. Could you mentally survive this transition? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments. This gets more intense. 10 p.m. Dinner arrives. The slot in the cell door opens. A metal tray slides through. The slot closes. This is how SHU inmates eat. No cafeteria. No dining hall. No human interaction. Food delivered to cell 3 times daily. The tray contains processed meat, unclear what kind, gray, formed into a patty. White bread, 2 slices, dry. Canned green beans, cold from the can. Fruit cup, pears and syrup, processed. Milk, small carton, warm. Plastic spoon, no forks, no knives. Security risk. This cost the federal government $1.42 per meal. It tastes like it. Diddy looks at the tray, picks up the plastic spoon, stares at the meat. He's eaten at the finest restaurants. Lou Bernardine, Massa, French Laundry, private chefs, $500 steaks, caviar, champagne. This is sustenance, not food. Calories to keep you alive. Nothing more. He takes a bite of the meat. Chews. It's rubbery, flavorless, chemical aftertaste. He eats anyway. Because hunger is worse. Because refusing food is a passive form of protest. Because he needs strength for what's coming. The meal takes 7 minutes to consume. Not because he's savoring it. Because chewing processed food takes time. When he's done, he places the tray back on the slot shelf, bangs on the door. The slot opens. A hand takes the tray. Slot closes. No thank you. No conversation. Just mechanical transaction. 10:07 p.m. First meal complete. He's no longer hungry, but he's not satisfied. Just less empty. 16 hours into the first 24 hours. Still 8 hours until morning. 11 p.m. The noise intensifies. MDC Brooklyn at night is chaos barely contained by concrete. Through the walls, Diddy can hear. Cell 45. Someone praying loudly. Muslim evening prayers. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Cell 49. Two cellmates arguing. About nothing. About everything. Voices rising. Guards don't intervene unless there's violence. Cell 51. Someone crying. Quiet. Suppressed. But audible through the ventilation system. Cell 53. Laughter. Unhinged. Manic. Either drugs or mental illness. Maybe both. Somewhere distant. Metal banging. Rhythmic. Someone signaling. Gang communication. Or just boredom. Ventilation system. Voices traveling through ducts. Conversations from 3 floors away. Echoing. Distorted. Like ghosts. And underneath it all, the hum. The mechanical hum of industrial systems. Ventilation. Plumbing. Electricity. A constant low-frequency drone that you can feel in your bones. This is the soundscape of federal detention. It never stops. It never quiets. First night inmates don't sleep. Can't sleep. The noise is overwhelming. Foreign. Threatening. Diddy lies on the bunk. Eyes open. Staring at the ceiling. His brain wants silence. Craves it. But there is no silence here. Not ever. He tries to block it out. Covers his head with a thin blanket. It muffles nothing. The noise continues. Will continue. All night. Every night. This is psychological warfare disguised as housing. Designed to break you. To make you compliant. To remove resistance. Some men break in days. Others in weeks. The strong ones last months. But everyone breaks eventually. 11:15 p.m. He gives up trying to sleep. He sits up. Feet on cold concrete floor. And waits for morning. Because there's nothing else to do. 12 a.m. Midnight. 18 hours in. The adrenaline from the arrest has faded. The shock of intake has settled. The noise has become background. Now comes the thinking. The processing. The reality settling in. Diddy sits on the metal bunk. Elbows on knees. Hands clasped. Staring at the concrete floor. What's going through his mind? We can't know for certain. But based on thousands of first-night inmate interviews, psychologists know the pattern. Hour 1 to 6, shock. Disbelief. This isn't real. Hour 6 to 12, anger. At the system. At the charges. At the betrayal. Hour 12 to 18, bargaining. Mental deals. If I just get through tonight. If my lawyers just. Hour 18 to 24, depression. The weight. The realization. This is real. This is happening. At midnight, Diddy is in the depression phase. The realization that his empire is collapsing. Deals canceled. Partnerships dissolved. Brands distancing. His reputation is destroyed. Guilty or innocent. The damage is permanent. His freedom may be over. Forever. Life in prison is a real possibility. His children are suffering. Reading headlines. Seeing their father in shackles. His legacy is dust. Everything he built. Decades of work. Gone. These thoughts are crushing. Physically heavy. Like weight on your chest. First-night depression in detention has a 300% higher suicide risk than any other time. MDC Brooklyn knows this. Why the intake screening asks about suicidal thoughts. But screening doesn't prevent thoughts. It just documents them. 12:15 a.m. Diddy stands. Paces the cell. 6 steps to the wall. Turn. 6 steps back. Pacing is all you can do in 48 square feet. 1 a.m. Guard rounds. Every hour, a correctional officer walks the SHU tier. Checks each cell. ensures inmates are alive, not hanging, not dead, not escaped. The procedure. Flashlight through the small window in the cell door, visual confirmation of inmate move to next cell, complete round in 15 minutes. The flashlight beam hits Diddy's face. He's sitting on the bunk, eyes open, clearly awake. The guard notes it. Inmate 37452-054. Awake. No issues. Moves to the next cell. This happens every hour. All night. Every night. Sleep is impossible with hourly flashlight checks. Especially on the first night when every sound is threatening. Every footstep could be danger. The guard's footsteps fade down the corridor. Diddy returns to his thoughts. He's not the first celebrity in MDC Brooklyn. Not the first millionaire. Not the first mogul. Others have been here. R. Kelly. Held here 2019 to 2022. Attacked multiple times. Eventually transferred. Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's associate. Held 2 years. Complained of rat infestation, cold showers, inedible food. Martin Shkreli, Pharma Bro. Held here. Said it was worse than the prison he was later transferred to. All of them survived. But survival isn't the same as living. Survival in MDC Brooklyn means enduring. Day after day. Week after week. Month after month. With no guarantee of when it ends. 1:15 a.m. 20 hours into the first 24 hours. For more hours until morning. The longest 4 hours of the night. 2 a.m. The darkest hour. Ironically, around 2 a.m., MDC Brooklyn quiets slightly. Not silent, but quieter. Even prisons have circadian rhythms. Even chaos sleeps a little. The yelling stops. The banging stops. The crying continues, but muffled. And in that relative quiet, a different kind of torture emerges. Your own thoughts. Without noise to distract. Without activity to occupy. Your mind becomes the enemy. Psychologists call this rumination in isolation. The brain, lacking external stimuli, turns inward, obsesses, spirals. For Diddy, the thoughts might include the victims. If the allegations are true, the harm caused, the lives affected, the consequences of actions, the allegations. If false, the injustice, the false accusations, the impossibility of proving a negative, the trial, months away, maybe a year, legal strategy, testimony, evidence, outcomes, the what-ifs. What if I'd handled things differently? What if I'd settled earlier? What if I'd taken different deals? The family, his mother, his children, their pain, their embarrassment, their suffering because of him. The empire, built over 30 years, crumbling in 30 days. Contracts void, brands distanced, partners fled. These thoughts loop, repeat, intensify. Without therapy, without support, without distraction. Just you and your worst thoughts. In a concrete box. For hours. This is why solitary confinement is considered torture by human rights organizations. It's not the physical conditions, though those are bad. It's the forced confrontation with yourself. With no escape. 2:30 a.m. He's still awake. Still thinking. Still trapped. In his cell. In his mind. In his situation. 5:30 a.m. First light appears through the small cell window. For inmates, dawn is relief. Evidence that time is passing. That the night is survivable. That morning comes. The small window in cell 47 shows a sliver of sky. It's turning from black to dark blue. Soon it will be gray. Then light. Diddy hasn't slept. Not really. Maybe dozed for 30 minutes around 3 a.m. But mostly just laid there. Waiting. His body aches. The metal bunk is unforgiving. The thin mattress provides no support. His back hurts. His neck is stiff. This is normal. First-night inmates report severe physical discomfort. Bodies accustomed to comfort can't adjust immediately to concrete and metal. It takes weeks. Months. Some never adjust. 5:45 a.m. The facility begins waking up. First sound, mechanical clanking. Industrial systems starting up. Heating if it works. Water pressure increasing. Kitchen equipment activating. Then footsteps. Guards changing shifts. Night shift leaving. Day shift arriving. Then voices. Other inmates waking. Toilets flushing. Sinks running. The sounds of 1,800 men starting another day in detention. 6 a.m. The intercom crackles to life. Count time. All inmates stand at your door for count. Count time happens 4 times daily. Guards walk the tier. Count every inmate. Ensure no one escaped during the night. Diddy stands. Walks the 3 steps to the cell door. Stands at the small window. A guard appears. Makes eye contact. Marks the clipboard. 37452-054. Present. Moves to the next cell. Count takes 15 minutes. Then breakfast. The first meal of day 2. He survived the first night. 6:30 a.m. Breakfast arrives. The slot opens. Tray slides through. Slot closes. Contents. Powdered eggs, scrambled, yellow, rubbery. 2 slices white bread, dry, no butter. Apple, small, bruised. Mealy cereal, generic flakes, small box. Milk, small carton, barely cold, plastic spoon. Cost to taxpayers, $1.42. Same as dinner. Diddy looks at the powdered eggs. They're the same color as the cell walls. Institutional beige. He eats anyway. Because hunger is worse. Because routine helps. Because what else is there to do? The eggs taste like chemicals. The bread is stale. The apple is mealy. The cereal is fine. Hard to ruin cornflakes. He finishes in 8 minutes. Returns the tray to the slot. 6:38 a.m. 22 hours into the first 24 hours. 2 hours until the 24-hour mark. Until he can say, I survived day 1. But there's no celebration. No milestone marker. Because tomorrow is day 2. And the day after is day 3. And this could continue for months. Years. Maybe forever. That's the psychological warfare of detention. Not the conditions themselves, though those are brutal. But the uncertainty. You don't know when it ends. If it ends. Sentenced prisoners have dates. 15 years. Terrible, but knowable. Pre-trial detainees have nothing. Until trial. Could be 6 months. Could be 3 years. The ambiguity is torture. 7 a.m. Recreation hour. SHU inmates get 1 hour daily outside their cells. Recreation. But it's not like general population. No gym. No yard. No other inmates. Just a concrete cage. Slightly larger than the cell. Maybe 10 feet by 15 feet. Chain link ceiling showing sky. No equipment. No basketball hoop. Nothing. Just concrete and sky. The guard escorts Diddy, still in shackles, down the corridor. Through security doors. To the recreation cage. 1 hour. Stay visible. Don't approach the fence. The door closes. He's alone in the cage. This is supposed to be respite. Fresh air. Exercise. But it's just a bigger cage. Still isolated. Still confined. Still alone. Diddy walks the perimeter. 15 feet one way. 10 feet the other. Turn. Repeat. Walking is all there is. Some inmates do push-ups. Sit-ups. Burpees. Anything to maintain physical fitness. He tries push-ups. Gets to 20. Stops. Sits against the wall. Looks up at the sky. It's overcast. Gray. Brooklyn in September. Might rain. From this cage, he can't see the city. Can't see freedom. Just sky and the tops of the prison walls. Somewhere out there, millions of people are starting their Tuesday. Coffee. Commutes. Meetings. Normal life. He's in a cage. Wearing shackles. Under guard. 7:30 a.m. 30 minutes into recreation. He stands. Resumes pacing. Because sitting still is worse. Sitting still means thinking. And thinking leads to despair. So he paces. For 30 more minutes. Until the guard returns. Time's up. Back to your cell. 9 a.m. The cell door slot opens. Combs. Legal visit. 30 minutes. Finally. Human contact. His lawyers. Information. Strategy. Connection to the outside world. Legal visits are different from regular visits. More frequent. More private. Essential for preparing defense. The guard escorts him to the attorney visiting room. Small room. Table. Chairs. Glass partition with a phone for communication. Wait, no. COVID changed everything. Even attorney visits are sometimes through glass. Depends on the facility's rules. In MDC Brooklyn, attorney visits for high-security inmates are through the phone/glass system. No contact. His lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, is already there. Wearing a suit. Clean. Professional. From the free world. Diddy sits. Picks up the phone. How are you holding up? I'm here. What's the status? We filed another bail motion. Appealing to the circuit court. We're arguing that the detention conditions constitute punishment before conviction, which violates due process. Will it work? Honestly, probably not. But we have to try. The judge was very clear about flight risk and danger to the community. What's the trial timeline? Earliest, 6 months. Realistically, a year. Maybe longer. Discovery is massive. Decades of allegations. Multiple witnesses. This will be complex. A year. Minimum. In this cell. What do I need to know? Don't talk to anyone. Not other inmates. Not guards. Nothing. Assume everything is recorded. Everything is monitored. I understand. We're working on getting you transferred. Maybe to a different facility. Better conditions. But that takes time. Time. Everything takes time. The visit lasts 30 minutes. Ends too quickly. He's escorted back to cell 47. Back to isolation. Back to waiting. 9:45 a.m. 25 hours into incarceration. The first 24 hours are complete. He survived. 10 a.m. 26 hours in. The first 24-hour cycle is complete. Diddy sits on the metal bunk. Back against the concrete wall. Knees pulled up. Processing the last 24 hours. 8:47 p.m. yesterday. Arrival. Intake. Strip search. Medical screening. Classification. 9:42 p.m. First seeing cell 47. The reality hitting. 10 p.m. First meal. Processed food. Survival calories. Midnight. The crushing thoughts. The depression. The weight. 2 a.m. The silence. The rumination. The trapped mind. 5:30 a.m. First light. Proof of survival. 6:30 a.m. Breakfast. Day 2 beginning. 7 a.m. Recreation cage. Bigger prison. 9 a.m. Lawyer visit. Connection to the outside. Strategy. Hope. Now alone again. In the cell. Waiting for lunch. Then dinner. Then night. Then tomorrow. The cycle continues. In the free world, 24 hours is barely noticed. A day. It passes. Tomorrow comes. In detention, 24 hours is an eternity. Every minute feels elongated. Stretched. Heavy. He survived the first 24 hours. The hardest 24 hours. The shock period. But that doesn't mean it gets easier. It just means the body adjusts to the trauma. Becomes numb. Accepts the unacceptable. Psychologists call this learned helplessness. When the mind realizes it has no control, no agency, no power to change circumstances. So it stops fighting, stops resisting, just endures. That's what happens in detention. The transformation from fighter to survivor. From I will change this to I will endure this. From Diddy to inmate 37452-054. The first 24 hours complete that transformation. And now day 2 begins. Same cell, same food, same noise, same isolation. For months, maybe years. Until trial, until verdict, until sentence. This is the new reality. While Diddy sits in cell 47, let's zoom out. Understand the system he's now trapped in. Pre-trial detention in America. 500,000 people currently in jail awaiting trial, not convicted, average stay. 10 months presumption of innocence. constitutional right. Reality? Detention is punishment before conviction, bail system, designed to ensure court appearance. Reality? Wealth determines freedom. Diddy offered $50 million bail. Denied. Poor defendants offered $5,000 bail. Can't afford it. Stay detained. The irony: wealth usually buys freedom. But in high-profile cases, it becomes evidence of flight risk. MDC Brooklyn specifically, built for 1,600, holds 1-800 staff shortage, 30% below requirement documented problems, lack of heat, medical neglect, violence, suicide deaths in custody, multiple per-year lawsuits, ongoing, many successful. Famous MDC Brooklyn inmates. R. Kelly, attacked, transferred Ghislaine Maxwell. 2 years pretrial detention. Martin Shkreli, called it hell on earth. Various mafia bosses, cartel leaders, gang members. Diddy is now one name on a long list. The legal process ahead. Pretrial detention, current phase, discovery, reviewing evidence months, motions, legal arguments months, trial, if it happens, weeks to months, verdict, guilty or not guilty, sentencing. If guilty, could be life. Total timeline: 1 to 3 years from arrest to conclusion. That's 1 to 3 years in MDC Brooklyn. In cell 47. In isolation. Unless bail is granted, unlikely. Unless transferred, possible. Unless pleads guilty, his choice. For now, he waits. Like 500,000 other pretrial detainees in America. Presumed innocent. Treated as guilty. What happens after the first 24 hours? The daily routine, next months/years. 6 a.m., wake up, count time. 6:30 a.m., breakfast. 7 a.m., recreation hour, alone in cage. 8 a.m., back to cell. 12 p.m., lunch. 1 p.m., possible legal visit, phone call. 5 p.m., dinner. 6 p.m., free time, sitting in cell. 10 p.m., lights dim, but never fully dark. Midnight, 6 a.m., try to sleep despite noise, checks. Repeat. Daily. 4 months. Legal process. Weekly attorney visits, preparing defense. Reviewing discovery, thousands of pages of evidence. Witness preparation strategy, sessions, bail appeals. Ongoing, likely denied. Motions to dismiss, standard, rarely succeed. Psychological toll. First week. Shock, survival mode. First month. Depression, adjustment 3 months. Numbness, routine acceptance 6 months. Identity erosion, institutional thinking 1 year. If still detained, severe psychological impact. Physical toll. Weight loss from poor food, stress, sleep deprivation, from noise, lights, checks, muscle atrophy, from minimal exercise. Health neglect, medical care is minimal. The possible outcomes. Bail granted on appeal, unlikely but possible, would mean house arrest, trial in 6 to 12 months, most likely, then verdict, plea deal, if prosecution offers, if he accepts, transfer to different facility, possible, would improve conditions slightly. For now, none of those are certain. For now, there's just tomorrow. And the day after. And the day after. In cell 47. MDC Brooklyn. Special Housing Unit. Waiting. Let's be clear about something. We don't know everything that happened in those first 24 hours. What we know comes from standard MDC Brooklyn intake procedures, public record, interviews with former inmates, documented, federal detention protocols, published attorney accounts, from legal filings, journalistic investigation, from credible sources. What we don't know. Diddy's exact thoughts, private, specific conversations, confidential, his emotional state, not disclosed, details of legal strategy, privileged. The broader truth. Regardless of guilt or innocence, which will be determined at trial, the conditions of pretrial detention in America are brutal. MDC Brooklyn specifically is notorious for documented human rights violations, deaths in custody from neglect, violence between inmates, psychological torture through isolation, basic needs denied, heat, water, medical care. The questions this raises: should pretrial detention be this harsh? Legally, no, it's not supposed to be punishment. Does wealth determine who gets bail? Empirically, yes. Is solitary confinement torture? UN says yes. Are these conditions constitutional? Ongoing legal debate. What happens next for Diddy? He'll remain in MDC Brooklyn until trial, unless bail granted on appeal. Trial date. Likely spring-summer 2025 if convicted. Transfer to federal prison for sentencing if acquitted. Immediate release if plea deal. Depends on terms. But that's months away. Maybe a year. Maybe more. For now, there's just today. And tomorrow. And the day after. In cell 47. In isolation. In MDC Brooklyn. The first 24 hours are over. The next 24 begin. And the system grinds on. This is the reality of pretrial detention in America. From billionaire to inmate in 24 hours. If you want more deep dives into the criminal justice system, subscribe now. Next video, Life in MDC Brooklyn month by month. Thanks for watching.